Hello, my name is Darren Thomas. This video is for my EDU C536 students. In particular, I'm going to show you in this video how to go about completing an assignment for a forum where you have to summarize the text, react to the text, and provide an example of how you would apply the text in your classroom. So as you can see, I'm already logged into Moodle, and I'm going to demonstrate this through Chapter 1. Now, you have to think about some of the advantages that you have. For example, by the time you're actually looking at your textbook, you've already experienced a lecture given by me on the topic. So you're already somewhat familiar with the concepts inside the chapter. What this means is that you don't have to work very hard to get through the actual text to be successful. Now, there are several things that you need to do. First of all, I would not recommend typing your answer directly into the forum in Moodle, because as you should be familiar with your mind, with how the brain works, you know that you kind of need to play with ideals over time. So in reality, you should first make your answer inside Microsoft Word and then copy and paste it into the forum as required for the class. So you can see right here, I already have Microsoft Word set up, and as you know, the Summarize, React, and Apply forum has three parts to it: the summary, the reaction, and the application. So the first thing you should do, in my opinion, let me fix this, is you should put up these three headings. And you probably should bold them because this will help you visually to know the three parts that are necessary. Now, I will now explain to you how to deal with the summary. So, here's how I do it. So you can see here's the textbook. In graduate school, this is a dirty secret that I'm going to share with you. You don't actually read everything the teacher gives you. It is nearly impossible. So I don't want you to get stuck on trying to read all 50 pages of every chapter. That is not practical. What I did as a student and what I'm going to show you now is the following. I would always look at the table of contents. So here you can see I can see the table of contents for chapter 1 here. This allows me to see the big picture. As you guys know from my class, I'm a big picture person. So all the sections here in bold are the main sections in the chapter. So as you remember from the PowerPoint lectures, we defined learning. We talked about different learning theories. We talked about research a little bit, assessment. We talked about the historical aspects of learning. And we didn't really talk a lot in class about this because of a lack of time, but it also talks about critical issues for learning theory, etc. Underneath the major headings are subheadings. And so as you get familiar with the big picture, what you ultimately need to do is you summarize the text by mentioning these big picture items, these items in bold, and then to further verify that you actually read something, you look for supporting details or little pieces of information about some of the main headings. So let me give you an example. I'm now back in the text, and so I might say, Chapter 1 lays the foundation for the entire text. Basic ideas are covered, such as what learning is, the influence of psychology, history, as well as how to conduct assessment and research, period. So this is kind of a summary. Now, of course, this is a little bit too short, but I just want to try to give you an idea of how to do this. And then I might give you some examples. For example, the author defines learning from a behavioral standpoint when he says, blah, 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 blah. You guys know. Then I share the definition. The role of psychology led to the development of structuralism and functionalism, which are based on ancient philosophy, on the ancient philosophies of rationalism and what was the other one? Empiricism. Okay, so this is probably a very reasonable summary because I don't want it to be long. I just want you to tell me what you think. So this is my summary. Now I have to put my reaction. The reaction is what you think about the text. So for example, do you agree or disagree with the author's definition of learning? Do you support more functionalism or structuralism, or do you think they're both nonsense? Your opinion is your business, but in this class to receive credit, you must provide support for your opinion. And that is the next step in developing reasoning and logic skills. All right, so let me give you an example. I think that the author's definition of learning is limited. I say this because there are times when we learn without providing outward, visible evidence of change. For example, people may change their opinion on a matter, and they may not want to admit this due to stubbornness. As such, there may be times when learning occurs even if it cannot be observed. So here I'm just trying to explain one point. When you are doing your reaction, you don't have to react to everything in the chapter. That's not practical. What you do is you pick one or two items and you share your viewpoint on that. One or two items, you share your viewpoint on that. The rest cannot be discussed in less than 100 words. I don't want people to pass out from too much work. And lastly, we have the application. How can you use this information in your classroom? So again, maybe I will talk about assessment. What I learned about assessment is that it can go beyond just summative aspects to also being used as a learning tool. I can use assessment to help my students to learn by going over the answers to quizzes and or tests rather than simply reporting the results. So this is how we do this. So let me review what we've done so far. In this particular video, we've looked at how to approach the summary, react, apply forum. I share with you how I recommend that you first look at the text. Look at the text, specifically look at the table of contents. As you look at the table of contents, you are seeing the big picture of what the textbook or the chapter is about. This is a powerful way to actually summarize what the text is about by looking at the table of contents. I mentioned how I'm not going to hold you to reading every single page and every single word. You have to practice what we call skimming. This is where you fly through a text and you try to find the points. Next, after that, I showed you how to do the actual summary. You take some of the main headings from the chapter and then you look for some details to kind of we call it, flesh out or to support what you're going to say. Now, I didn't do this in the video, but let's say I can't remember what structuralism and functionalism is. Well, if you look inside the textbook in the online version, if you click, it'll take you right to the page. Let me do that again for you because the book is hyperlinked. Hold on. The book is hyperlinked. So if you are looking at the online version, all you have to do is click in the table of contents on what you want and it'll take you. So here I am. Notice how when I put my mouse over some text in the detailed table of contents, it changes from an arrow to a finger. When I click on this structuralism, functionalism, it will take me to page 8. So I click on this again, and look, I'm right there on page 8. And look, right here at the bottom, structuralism and functionalism. Here I get some details. I could start remembering names now, Teichner and Want, etc. This helps you to complete the actual summary part of the paper, or of the forum. Once you get about 100 words, a paragraph or so, I am satisfied with that. The goal of the class is exposure, not punishment. So you write 100 words or so, you're done with the summary. Next, I showed you how to do the reaction. In the reaction, you pick one aspect of the text that you want to provide an opinion to. What you think about it. Do you agree or disagree? Is it weak or strong? Do you see it differently? Is there a better way to do it? Etc. These are some of the questions you can deal with in the reaction section. And lastly, I showed you the application. Again, you don't have to tell me how you will use everything, but can you tell me how you will use one piece of information from the chapter in your own classroom? So that is the end of this video. In a future video and another part of the Moodle homepage, I will show you how to actually upload your answer into Moodle. So I hope that this video helps you. Thank you.